Hello, my name is Omar, and today we're talking about the StackHawk CLI. StackHawk was created to make it easier for developers to find and fix security bugs fast. The latest iteration of the StackHawk scanner makes it even easier for developers to quickly scan their applications for vulnerabilities. Previously, scans with StackHawk were only possible using Docker images containing the HawkScan application. With the CLI, scans can now be run without Docker as a dependency. The CLI features simpler commands capable of initiating scans and validating configuration files. In order to demonstrate how to use the new CLI, we will install it, configure it, and run scans against a vulnerable Java Spring application. The CLI can be easily downloaded using the Homebrew Package Manager or from a zip file. Here in the docs, there is detailed information on how to install and use the CLI. If we choose to install it using the zip file, we can download the file using either a curl command here, or we can download the file directly. Then we would unzip it and then add the CLI to our path. Here in my terminal, you can see the single line homebrew command that can be used to install the CLI. It includes both the installation of the StackHawk tap as well as the CLI tool named Hawk. We'll go ahead and install the CLI using the single line command. Okay, so it's downloading. Installing. Okay, so it completed the installation. We can quickly verify our version to make sure it was installed. Run the Hawk version, and we see that we are running the 2.0 beta version. The next step that we want to take is to authenticate the CLI with the StackHawk platform to ensure that scan results can be sent back. This can be done using the Hawk init command, which will prompt us for an API key. So I'll go ahead and type in Hawk init, execute it. So it is asking us to now enter a StackHawk API key. What we can do is we can go to the StackHawk platform and generate a API key. It's provided upon the creation of a user account. So I'll go ahead and go to the platform and make a new user and get my API key. So the first thing that we'll see here is that an API key was generated for us. We can go ahead and copy it and just paste it to the side. And so while we're here in the platform, we can go ahead and add our app. So first I'll just name my app, select the environment, put in the host URL. For the application type, I'm going to select dynamic web application, single page application. For the API type, I'm going to select REST Open API. For this path, I'm going to put Open API. So that will add our application to the platform. And what we would normally do is we would download the StackHawk configuration file here, the StackHawk YAML, and we can use that for our scans. Now that we have our API key, I can copy it and paste it into the prompt here. Okay, and after entering the API key, it successfully authenticated with the platform. After we've authenticated the CLI with the StackHawk platform, we can use the CLI's help or -h flag to see the available subcommands. Okay, so here we have multiple subcommands and options. We have the init and version commands, which we've already used. Then there's also the scan and validate commands. The options available here allow us to override the API key that exists in the hawk.properties file. And the no color flag allows us to turn off the color in the output from the terminal when using the CLI. The help flag is available for the hawk command as well as for the available subcommands such as scan and validate. In order to run our scans using the CLI, we must first have a valid configuration file. In order to check this, we can use the hawk validate config command against the configuration file to ensure that it's valid. So we have a StackHawk.yaml file in the base of our application folder. So I'll put in hawk validate config and put in the name of my file. Okay, so I was able to find the file and scanned it and is informing us that it is a valid file. Since StackHawk.yaml is the default name for the expected configuration file, we could actually drop this completely and it will be able to find the file. And so it returns the same message to us, found the file, and it is valid. We can also see what it would look like if we had problems in our configuration file. So I have this example here. I'm going to do a hawk validate config for a YAML file that has problems in it. So I'm going to execute this. Okay. So what it's doing is it's printing out our entire YAML file and it's pointing out specific problems in the configuration. We could see that there are 3 issues here. I intentionally inserted bad values here. These can be identified and addressed right away, and then you can proceed with validating again or running your scan. In some cases, a configuration file may be considered an invalid YAML file, meaning that it is not only an invalid configuration file, but also that it cannot be parsed as valid YAML. In cases like these, the hawk validate config command will inform us that the configuration file does not conform to YAML format. So I have another example here of a second bad configuration file. This one is not going to be parsable as valid YAML, and we'll see a somewhat different error message. So here it's pointing out that there is a problem in parsing the YAML, tells us that it is not valid YAML. Now that we have authenticated the CLI with the platform and validated our configuration file, we can now start to run scans. I can simply start a scan using the default StackHawk.yaml file using the command hawk scan. Okay, so we're initiating our scan here. And so we're running this scan against a Java Spring application that has some known vulnerabilities in it. It's an application that we often test with. And so when this scan runs, it will identify certain vulnerabilities with it and provide us results on those vulnerabilities. Additionally, in the platform, we can see scans starting to run. So we see that a scan started for the app that we created here. It's just going through. It's already had some findings. We have some findings here related to vulnerabilities in this application. When we go over to the platform, we can see the full results here, and we can click on specific findings to have more information on what exactly was found and just all the details around that. In order to see the options available as part of the scan command, we can run the hawkscan help flag. We'll just use the -h flag, the shorthand for the help. Here we have multiple options and advanced options. as an example, we can test out a scan using various scan options. So with this template command here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run the same Hawk scan, but I'm going to pass the API key along with the Hawk command. And then I'm going to pass a few variables, app ID and app host using the -e flag to the scan command. I'm going to enable debug logging, and I'm going to set my repo directory explicitly, as well as the configuration file. So I'll go ahead and do that. I'll take my API key. Then I will go get my app ID, put the app host. Okay. This command looks ready to run, so let's run it. Okay. So it should run very similarly to the Hawk scan command that we ran previously. The only difference is that we kind of displayed all of these different options that you can use in the actual scan command. That concludes this overview of the new features available in the StackHawk CLI. I hope you found this demonstration interesting and helpful. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.